looked me in the eyes and he's like, you have a problem. And I was like, bro, if you're telling me I got a problem, I'm like, I must really got a problem,
exactly.
right? Option number one, this is what I felt like at the time. I was like, I could die here because that's what I felt like. Because he exists, I'm motivated. Like that's the level that I'm shooting for. That's a good question. I never thought about that.
Brian, my man.
What's up, brother?
Welcome on board. How you doing? Thank you so much for coming along. I wanna lead in with this right now with a big acknowledgement to you. Like I've seen you probably for like 6 years now on social media.
Yeah.
And I think you reached out to me probably back then when you were just starting out.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, I just want to acknowledge you for your for your hustle, for your hard work, for your genuine way of like showing up to the audience you're serving and that sort of thing. I have mad respect for people that just stick to something because I have that innate in me as well. So I just want to say that you're awesome for that.
Thank you. It's funny because I always say no to stuff like this. Always.
Yeah.
I've like, my videographer's seen it like hundreds of times. People ask me, I'm just like, no. But for some reason I said yes, and I don't know why I said yes, but I'm excited to be here because I like your energy. I think you're a great person. So I appreciate that.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
Awesome, dude. So yeah, a lot of the men we're working with, you know, they're kind of like, you know, in a 9-to-5 corporate guys. We work with a lot of sales professionals.
Yeah.
That kind of like our offer and our, you know, coaching and the way we help them is kind of like turning into high performing men, like overall. Yeah. So my first question to you is like, what is your definition of a high performing man?
I think for me, a high performing man is one that like not only focuses on how much money you're making, but focuses on like your character and what kind of person that you are. I personally believe that there's 4 main areas in my life that I provide like fulfillment and happiness from: health, wealth, relationships, and self. So like health is like, I want to be in like my peak physical condition for the place I'm at in my life. Wealth is I want to make as much money as I possibly can. Relationships is I want to be a good partner to my, you know, significant other. And I also just want to be like a good person in general. And then self is I've got goals that I'm chasing that like might not have anything to do with anything. I just want some of these goals. Like social media followers, it's not really health, wealth, relationships, self, but it's like, it's something that like I care about, right? So I think a high performing man is one that is like absolutely relentless in all disciplines and doesn't compromise one area of life for another. Because I see that happen often. It's like people are like, oh, I'm gonna get in the, like a personal trainer is the worst for this. They get in the best shape ever, but then they're like great, they look amazing, they're winning shows, but it's like you look at their bank account, they're not making any money.
Bro,
right? And I'm sure you experience it with sales as well. It's like a lot of these guys that are like high performers in their field, crushing it, but then they look at themselves in the mirror and they don't even look at themselves in the mirror. They like avoid that conversation. So I think it's being honest with where you're at with every area of your life and not missing on anything.
Yeah, totally. How do you think people can become more aware? Because I think it's even the same thing for you and I. It's like we have these like dominant areas we're moving in toward, like work or something, and then sometimes some of the other things that go. How do you think some of those guys can become like really just take inventory and be like, okay, this is the 3, 4, 5 areas I need to improve, and then like actually do something about it?
I think the first thing is like you have to be willing to tell yourself the truth. You know, like how many guys actually tell themselves the truth? And this is something that I struggle with. I'm gonna be honest. Like sometimes I'll delude myself into believing that like I'm being a good husband to my wife, but then I haven't taken her on a date in 3 weeks. So like I will tell myself like I'm being a provider, I'm like taking care of the house, like I'm doing all this stuff. But the reality of the situation is like she's asking me for quality time and I'm not giving that to her. So like I think step number 1 is like being willing to be honest with yourself. And so if you look at all the different areas of your life, like do an honest self-assessment and ask yourself like, am I proud of the person that I'm showing up as in this area or not? So it's like, go look at yourself in the mirror and like take your shirt off and ask yourself like, am I stoked with this? Am I happy with this? Like, and don't allow the story to come in, like, because some people will do that and they'll be like, well, you don't understand because like I just had this thing happen and I just had this thing happen and I'm dealing with this right now. Like it's like, are you happy or not? Same thing with your bank account. Like look at your bank account and honestly ask yourself like, is this the level that I'm satisfied with or not? You know, your relationships, like look at how you're treating your friends and your family and the people around you. Like what do they say about you? Are you happy with that or not? And then even in like the personal development aspect, like with whatever goal it is that you have, like I look at my goals and I'm like, I've achieved a lot of success in my life, but I'm like, I try to stay dissatisfied, to be completely honest with you. Because like I try to stay dissatisfied because whenever I get like, I'm like pat myself in the back, you know, I'm like, I'm doing good. that's when the complacency kicks in.
Yeah.
So I always try to stay a little bit dissatisfied, but I'm always like honest with myself about where I'm not showing up, because I believe that in life you're either moving forwards or you're moving backwards. So if you're not like, if you don't have that edge and you're not like trying to challenge yourself, like eventually complacency just slips its way in.
Yeah.
And then before you know it, you're 15 pounds overweight. You don't like the person you see in the mirror. You and your wife haven't gone on a date, you know?
Yeah.
Like I just try not to let myself slip.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's the like you're going for that complacency. Like if you're like too comfortable, like that's kind of like where you're like food slips or something slips there. Yeah.
I feel like all people are like that. Would you agree? What do you think? Like, how do you stay high performing? Because I know that obviously, like, you're in shape, you're jacked, you're on vacation. I see you, like, my friends are laughing at you because you're always like on your phone, like working your ass off. So like, how do you stay like on top of your game?
Well, you know, it's what I want to talk with you about today. It is personal development more than anything else. You know, it's being like, you know, there's the whole pain and pleasure aspect of like, what are you getting pain? Like, what are you running away from?
Yeah.
And what are you running towards? You know what I mean? So I've really just developed such a muscle of being disciplined with my routines. Not because I have to anymore, but because what it makes me feel. But I'm very much the same as you. It's like, you have your back against the wall, like you just perform. You know what I mean? But then you get a bit of a cushion. It can be money or it can be something, you know. And then I also have to work on that complacency. So I think that the complacency is the biggest one for me as well, you know, because what's the saying? For every level, there's another devil. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
For every level, there's another devil. And you probably look back 5 or 10 years and you're like, fucking hell, like I've really come a far way, but you don't see it right now. So I think it's staying on top of that, like a lot of reflection, a lot of writing. I do a lot of journaling and just really just take an inventory of the day, of the week, where am I going and where am I at? Like take inventory, as you said before, you know.
So I have a question, because I feel like this relates to me and you and also your guys. Like I see a lot of people that will like get, you know, to a certain income level, or they'll get to a certain place in their physique. And then as soon as they're at that place in their physique, they take their foot off the gas. Like, what do you think is like the long-term solution in terms of like making something a permanent reality change, instead of just like, oh, I got shredded one time and now I, you know, 5 weeks later, I'm 20 pounds up. It's like, what's like how do you, because you say you have these like disciplines that you stick with consistently. So what's the mindset behind that? Like, what's the mentality behind this? Like, this is something that I do and this is just who I am.
Yeah. I think I know 100% what it is. It's like being responsible to something outside of yourself. Okay. So it's like, it's the same thing for you. It's like, it's easy to say no to the drinks and the drugs and the food and the blah, blah, blah today. Why? Because you're going to show up on a podcast with me today. You have calls. You're responsible for your team and you're an example for other people. So yeah, it's what you're saying. It's your self-identity, who you are and how you show up to every single day. But it's just, I think it's having a mission and a vision that is pulling you out and constantly just reminding you about like, nah, not today. Yeah. And I think that is really the habit creation and the discipline that just becomes quote unquote easy to stick to. Do you agree? Or?
I agree completely. I think it's, I agree. And I think it's identity and vision. Because I ended up renting, me and one of my friends, I haven't seen him in like 10 years, went to Thailand for a week, and he sent me a list of Airbnbs that he wanted to rent. And he sent me like one that was like 4,000 for the week, one was like 2,000 for the week, and then one was like 16 grand for the week. And I was like, bro, why'd you send me that one? I'm like, we got to get that one, right? So we got this expensive Airbnb. It was amazing. But I lived with him for a week, and he watched the way that I work. And in Thailand, bro, like, so we have different time zones, because back in Canada right now, you know, if I wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning here, it's like, you know, 1 or 2 in the afternoon over there.
Pretty good, actually.
Which is not bad. Yeah. So in order for me to take consultation calls with, you know, my coaching clients and like potential clients, I got to get up at like 4 o'clock in the morning and then take calls from 4 a.m. to like 12 p.m. That's when I'm taking my calls. So my friend lived with me for a week, and this is just something that I do though, bro. Like, this isn't something like, I don't have to negotiate with myself to be like, oh, you got to get up today. Like, it's just, this is just who I am. And my friend, you know, he lived with me for a week, and he was like, dude, the coolest part about living with you was just like seeing how you work.
Consistency.
Seeing how you work. And I was like, what do you mean? He's like, well, just the fact that you get up at 4 o'clock every day, you don't miss, and you haven't missed since you've been out here, because like 7 days straight, 4 a.m., bam. That's just what I do. And I think that when I thought about that, I was like, that has everything to do with the fact that like, I view myself like, in my vision already.
Yeah.
And so I have these like goals, dreams, and aspirations of this place that I want to get to, health, wealth, relationships, and self. And I'm reminding myself of this destination every day. And every single day I'm taking actions that align with that direction. And when I'm not taking actions that align with that direction, it literally makes me physically ill.
Yeah.
Like I'm like, it's like disgusting to me.
Doubt, like insecurity almost like creeps and be like, what the fuck am I doing? Yeah,
exactly. Instantly, bro.
Do you think that's healthy?
Instantly.
Yeah. I'm like, yeah, it's
yeah.
But yeah, you know, and I also say like it's you know, like personal development, like reading books or doing courses and that sort of thing. Like for you and I, the reason why it's very, very beneficial for you and I is because we have something we can apply it to. You read this book about leadership and you apply it straight away into your work with your team and stuff.
Yeah.
How do you think guys that maybe don't have this vision and building a company yet and doing all these sort of things, how do you think they can become this like necessity to wake up and this like, you know what I mean? Like putting towards that bigger vision if that vision is not there yet?
Dude, I think that this comes back to the conversation about honesty. Because how many people, like I would say 95% of the world lies to themselves. Because if you think about the idea, like who here in this like world would not want to be a millionaire, right? There's no way that like if I gave you $1 million that you wouldn't like that. So everyone would like to make more money, you know? Everyone would like to be fit. They'd like to be in shape. They'd like to like be healthy.
Yeah.
But people delude themselves.
Yeah.
And they say, you know, I have big bones, or I don't have the time, or, you know, it's just not important to me right now, or I got other priorities in my life. But there's no way that if you got to make the decision between being overweight and being in shape, you wouldn't be in shape. So I think this comes back to the conversation about honesty with self, like going to look at yourself in the mirror and be like, am I actually happy with this? You know, even guys that like, let's talk about sales guys as an example, because I feel like with the guys that you're working with, like sales is one of those skill sets that the better you get, the more money you make, period. Sales is also a skill set. So you could just show up with the current level of skill set that you have, and maybe you close some deals, maybe you don't. Or you could like be like, I'm going to master this skill set. I'm going to follow the dudes that have mastered this skill set. I'm going to learn from the best in the game. I'm going to stay on top of my like edge, and I'm going to make sure that when I show up, if I have like 5 consults, I'm going to make sure that like I'm closing 4 of them.
Yeah.
And if I'm not closing 4 of them, I'm going to study until I do. That's a decision that you can make. Right? And there's no way that dudes are telling me that if you got 5 consults, you only want to close 1. It's a total lie. So I think it comes first with actually realizing that like you want more. And maybe up to this point in your life, you haven't fully given yourself permission to do so because you failed in the past, or like you think it's not possible, or like you're comfortable in mediocrity. But there's no possible way, if you had the choice between like a 6 or 7 figure life and a life where you're barely getting by, that you would choose the life that you're barely getting by. You've just accepted it. You've just accepted it. You know, so I think it's like you need to look at yourself in the mirror, and like look at where you're at right now and be like, this is not, I'm not okay with this. That's like, I feel like that's 90% of my game.
Exactly. I'm
not okay with this. I'm not satisfied.
What do you like? Because I'm just thinking about 5 people already in my head, like family and friends. And stuff. And it's like, you know, they want it. You know, like they want to go out and do these sort of things, but they just can't. They have the kids, they have the family, they have all these sort of things. It's like, I understand, you know, like you're in a dark fucking country, there's no sun, you know, you wake up in the morning, you have 2 kids, like, I understand. But you just think like it really just comes down to like freaking looking yourself in the mirror and then just be like brutally honest.
Well, think about this, right? Because let's talk about some people that do have those scenarios and situations. If we think about, I think that there needs to be one area of life. For me, this is my story at least. Like, this is my truth, and this is how I see the world. If I'm in a place right now in my life where I don't like myself for whatever reason, or I don't like the situation I'm in, or I'm comfortable with the situation I'm in, but I'm desiring more, and if you're listening to this podcast or this audio, there's no way there's some part of you that doesn't want more. It's like you're here because you want more. Right? You want more. And so if you actually have a scenario in your life, maybe you just had a baby, you got a baby at home, and you got to be a stay-at-home mom, whatever it is. Maybe you don't have what it takes to go out there and like prospect and go door to door and like find opportunities. But once one area of your life that you can attack, well, you can be fit from home. So why don't we attack that? You know, why don't we attack that? And like, I think like when I was 23 years old, I struggled with like a substance addiction. I like went down a really dark path. You know, I was partying, drinking turned into like me doing hard drugs. I ended up getting like lost in like that, just like kerfuffle, kicked out of my house, car repossessed, like was living in my grandma's house, on her couch in her trailer. And I remember being at literal rock bottom. And finally, after getting fired from my last nightclub manager job, you know, one of my friends who was also an addict looked me in the eyes and he's like, you have a problem. And I was like, bro, if you're telling me I got a problem, I'm like, I must really got a problem, exactly, right? So I decided I was going to change my life, and I didn't know what that actually looked like at the time. Like, I didn't know how I was going to do that. But I just cut myself off from everything. I like moved away to this like summer camp in the middle of the forest. I got a job as a cleaner, and I just started working on my fitness goals. I just started going for runs every single day, and that was it. I was cleaning toilets, and then after I cleaned toilets, I'd get off work and I'd go for a run. I did that for 3 months straight. And in that time frame, I started to develop a vision. I'm like, okay, now that I'm working on my fitness goals, I'm clean and sober, I'm not going to party anymore. What do I want to do with my life? I was like, then I started thinking, I'm like, okay, if I can make as much money as I wanted to make, how much would I want to make? You know, if I had my dream business, what would that look like? If I had my dream partner, what would that look like? Bro, that was 11 years ago. And like now at 32 years old, like, I think it was 10 years ago, actually, sorry. But 32 years old, like, you know, I've been really successful, own 2 7-figure businesses right now. You know, I bought my dream car, got a Lamborghini, drive around my Lamborghini, I fucking love it. Got a 20,000 square foot gym in Kelowna, married to my dream partner. Like every single goal, bro, that I ever wrote down on a piece of paper 11 years ago, 10 years ago is my vision. Like that's my reality now. Like that's the reality that I'm living in. And it started with fitness. Like all I had was fitness to attack. And now like 10, 11 years later, it's like I'm literally living in what I wrote down in a Microsoft Word document. And so I think that if you can have one area where you pour all of yourself into, that will start to develop into other things, which is why, like, I think, you know, I'm sure you see it with your fitness clients. It's like they get fit, all of a sudden they start making more money. Their energy improves, their sales improve, people want to be around them. They have this like charisma. It's like when people talk to them, like, you've changed. It's like you attack one area, everything else improves. That's what I think.
Love that, bro.
Yeah,
we jumped like 7 questions in the podcast right now, which is awesome. Like, I love this shit. You know, but like, I think, to be honest, bro, that's why, without knowing you personally, that's why we connected so much. Because I've been through the exact same thing. Drug addiction. I pour everything into fitness and these sort of things as well, you know. So I think there's something to be said around addictions.
100%.
Obsessions. Like, talk into that, like, maybe for a person that can't really relate to that, but what is that thing? Because, you know, locking in on your fitness, like, what is that edge and teeth you need to have there? Like, because I think that's the difference in someone like you and I. Yeah,
it's funny. I agree. I see a lot of people like us that, you know, past it. It's like, it's almost like so much so that people make fun of it. They're like, oh, I bet he's a past addict. But I think the reason for that is like, bro, like when you go through that dark of a time in your life, it's like, I know what that feels like. Like, I know where that goes. So I'm never going back there, ever. I'm not going to be that guy ever. And so whenever I catch myself slipping, I'm like almost reminded of what that guy was like.
What it feels like.
And I was like, you know, that's why, like, bro, you won't catch me dead at a nightclub. Like if I'm at a nightclub, it's like my friend's 30th birthday and I'm having a couple of drinks and then I'm peacing out. Because I remember what that was like. Like, I know what that life was like.
The calm downs, leaving. You know? Oh my God.
I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that anymore. And so I think that for me, it's like, and this is another thing, because you said, like, how do people find the motivation? Dude, I always try to consider the consequences. So like my big thing is like, people always think about what they want, but they never think about, and then, you know, some people they don't have the time, they're too busy, whatever, but they never actually think about what happens if they don't go after what they want. So what happens if you stay in the same place? You know, your business doesn't grow, you're making the same money, you know, your relationships stay in the exact same place, you know, the friends that you hang out with, they don't evolve, they don't change. 1, 2, 3, 5, 10 years goes down the track and you're still in the exact same place, living in the same town, talking to the same people, making the same money. How does that feel? Like, dude, that like terrifies me. I'm like, to imagine myself getting to like 40, 50 years old and then recognizing that I never went after my goals and now I don't get another chance because I don't have the energy, the charisma, the passion, and now I'm just tired and I'm older and I miss my shot. Bro, that is like
death.
That's like, dude,
that's the driver, isn't it?
I would rather drive my car off a bridge than live that life. Like, that is like, that's what gets me up every day.
And then, you know, and then sometimes we go in reverse. We like, fucking, can I just have a break right now? Like, have you ever had that? We just like, you just worked into the ground. You like, Imagine just having a 9 to 5 right now.
Dude.
You know what I mean? Like,
dude, sometimes I feel that. Like that's a once a week thought, dude. That's a once a week
but
thought.
then you would be like 2 days after, you'd be like, wow.
Yeah, it's a once a week. But then it's like, that's the price of admission.
Yeah.
You know? And I'm sure that, as somebody that has a physique is chiseled, these always are like, oh man, I would love to like smash a cake or smash a cheesecake or something like that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
But it's like, sometimes I have a piece of cake. I'm like, bro, I wish I was overweight. I wish I could have smashed this whole thing.
I know. I have no guilt or anything. Yeah. Zero guilt.
Dude, I agree. But it's like, that's the price of admission.
The price. Yeah.
That's the price of admission. You need to be willing to deal with those thoughts.
I agree.
Because I'd rather deal with that than be on the other side and be average and be satisfied with that and then be comfortable with that and accept that.
Yeah.
Like accepting average is like a disease, bro. I just accept average. I just accept that I'm supposed to make 40 to 50 grand a year. I accept that, my commissions are 3,000. I accept, why would you do that?
Why do you think people do that? Like because that's the mass.
Yeah.
That's like 90%.
I know, that's 95% of people. I know.
Conditioning, environment, friends, people.
All of it.
Yeah.
All of it. Because if you think about I'm sure you got this when you started succeeding in your little world. I don't want to speak for you, but for me, bro, when I started to distance myself from other people because my work ethic was just bigger, that's when people started talking.
Yeah.
Who does that guy think he is?
Yeah.
Why is that guy going so hard?
Yeah.
That guy needs to pipe down.
Yeah.
Right? So it's like I started literally, bro, when I started my business 5 years ago when you probably saw it, I made the decision. I was like, I'm going to have the #1 podcast for online fitness coaches. And there was like 5 or 6 other guys in the space, but I was like, mine's #1.
Yeah.
5 episodes a week, every week, 4 years straight. Now we've got 1,000 episodes.
Yeah.
So it's like, but as I started to get higher and higher, people were like, who's that guy?
Yeah.
Who does that guy think he is?
Yeah.
And so I think that a big reason that people don't go after the things that they want is because they're afraid of what their friends, their family, dude, and even people's family, because everybody's just operating with their own limitations. It's not their fault. It's not like they're bad people, but your mom, if she wasn't an entrepreneur and then you start going after your dreams and you start hustling, you're putting in 10 to 14 hour days. Of course, your mom's going to be like, dude,
what's happening?
Why don't you just get a salary job? Let's not, pretend to be an influencer. Let's
exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But everybody does that. Some people do it on lower levels and they're just encouraging you and just being like, I'm looking out for you. And some people are like, yo, you're a scam artist, blah, blah, blah. So it's people are afraid to push themselves because they don't want to stand out from the crowd. They just want to fit in.
Yeah.
So dude, I'm the opposite. If I'm fitting in, bro, I got to do something different. I'm not happy with that. I do not want to fit in. I don't want to be like everybody else. I don't want to blend in with the crowd.
Yeah.
A sheep in a herd of sheep. It's not that doesn't sound interesting to me.
It doesn't.
It doesn't sound interesting to me.
I know. No. So obviously a little bit more of your background and that sort of thing, but what would you say, one, why did you get into drugs? And also two, what is sort of some limiting belief that you had to shed off the last decade, the last 10 years of the people, hey, who do you think you are?
Yeah.
But also yourself from being very weak, vulnerable, drug addict to I got my shit together at least right now. What are some limiting belief and mindset shifts you need to have?
Shit together for the most part, I'd say. I would say 80% shit together. First of all, what got me into it was environment. The friends I was hanging out with, the people that I knew, the places that I went, the things that I was doing with my time. And so that's why I think step one for anybody changing their life is you need a radical change in your environment on whatever level. Maybe you're living in a place right now where you can't move out of your house or whatever, but a radical change in your environment would be hiring a mentor that is 10 steps ahead of you so you can be like, yo, that's not okay what you're doing right now. So for me, it was moving myself away from everybody that I knew, cutting myself off from everyone and just isolating myself. So that's what caused me to fall victim to it was environment. I also, bro, I didn't know how to deal with failure. That's a big thing too, is the part of the reason that I started with I really went down that path is I was doing these fitness competitions, and I remember I traveled to Australia to do a fitness competition, and I told all my friends and family that I was going to win. I went to this Australian show and I placed last out of 50 athletes. And I was so embarrassed that I didn't want to face the reality. And I came home and I was like, the Australians are super jacked and it wasn't fair. And blah,
different
blah, blah.
gear down there.
Yeah, exactly. Different animals, whatever. And I wasn't willing to face myself. I wasn't willing to be you just didn't look very good. I wasn't willing to have that conversation.
Yeah.
And so I almost had this big ego around this identity that I wanted to be and this person that I created that I just wasn't willing to be you sucked and you weren't very good.
Yeah.
So I masked the pain with doing drugs. So it was environment. It was, I was.
When did you start doing drugs?
I was 22 years old.
Oh, so that's actually quite like later-ish, yeah. Mm-hmm. And you're 32 now. Mm-hmm. Yeah, right. Mm-hmm. And how many years?
I did it. I was like a fast track, bro. I wouldn't
like quick up, yeah.
22 and then boom off the deep end.
Yeah.
I was 22 years old, and then at 23, I did it for 6 months straight, and that was my addiction.
Right.
Yeah.
And then kind of like off afterwards then.
It was right out. Yeah, I was off after that, and like, yeah, I like. In terms of like going out partying, like you just won't catch me like dead. No. And, like if like I'm sober completely, like I'll have a little bit of marijuana once in a while, but like yeah, in terms of like the hard drugs, it's been a long time off.
Yeah.
So that was what got me into it. And then what was the other the limiting belief that
the limiting belief you had to overcome like from your teens and even in your 20s and that sort of thing.
I think it's still to this day. Like I think that one of the things you said at the start of this podcast was that what got you here won't get you there. I think that's life, because what got you to this level is not what's going to get you to the next level of your business, where you double in size and impact in clients. It's just like there needs to be a completely new version of you. And so I think that for me, the limiting beliefs recently that I've been shedding is growing to right now where business is high 7 figures. We're doing incredible. I'm super grateful. But my goal is to go to like 8 figures, 9 figures. Yeah. And so like becoming that level of leader is completely new to me. And like, I'm coming from a background where like, dude, I was sleeping on my grandma's house in the trailer park. Yeah. And now I'm getting people that are making offers for my business for like 8 figures. And I'm like, what? Like, it's just like, it's
weird,
just,
isn't it? Like,
it's just like accepting that this is like my new reality and being okay with being in that, like being that guy, I think is a big thing. I think that now, like my goal, in my entire business coaching career, my goal is to be the number one guy in the space. And now that I am the number one guy in the space, like I caught myself getting comfortable last year. So that's another, like just me being vulnerable, like caught myself chilling. I was like, as soon as I realized I was the best, I was like, we good, But then what happens is when we good, then your limiting beliefs start kicking in. Then that's when self-sabotage starts kicking in. So
what were some things you did there then? Like just
dude, I did 5 podcasts a week every single week for 4 years. I went down to 1.
Shit.
1 podcast a week.
It's funny, isn't it? Yeah, we do that,
dude. And then so I just showed my wife this the other day. In January 2023, I was getting 180,000 downloads a month on my podcast, and then I was like, I'm the GOAT. And as soon as I realized I was the GOAT, I went down to 1 episode a week instead of 5. My podcast episodes dropped from 180,000 per month to 40,000 per month.
Yeah. Which
is a significant difference.
Yeah.
So this year, that's one thing I've been working on, is like doing 5 episodes a week every week again. And even just like we went from 40,000 to 60,000 to 75,000. So like we're starting to climb back up
again. Yeah.
But yeah, it's the complacency, bro. I just got complacent. So I think right now it's like, I want to keep myself on the razor's edge. Like I want to keep myself like.
And how do you do that then when you hit numbers and growth that you haven't had before? Like how do you keep?
I think for me at this point, it's putting myself in bigger rooms and being okay with being small again.
Yeah.
So I'm emceeing an event in Utah. There is going to be 13,000 people there. We're talking about like Gary Vee, Ed Mylett, Andy Frisella, David Goggins, just like Donald Trump Jr.
Were you going to speak there? Or?
I'm emceeing the whole thing. So I'm going to be on stage for 12 hours straight, introducing every one of these speakers.
Wow, amazing, dude.
So it's like
that's awesome.
Going to like the VIP party of that is like there's all these people, and I'm just like coming in, and I'm just like, hey guys, what's up?
Yeah.
My name's Ryan. Like, but like that's part of the game.
Yeah,
is like I need to put myself in that room and be like, I'm Brian. Nice to meet you. What's your name? And not be like intimidated that I'm talking to David Goggins. It's like that's like the next level of me. Is like I've wanted the identity for so long, and now that it's here, being willing to step into it and just shake somebody's hand and look them in the eyes, like. That's the next level for me right now.
I love that. I love that.
How about you? I'm curious what your next level looks like. I'm gonna flip it back to you. This is a two-way.
This is like a fucking Jay Rogan.
This is a two-way. I'm flipping it back on you now.
So what? In what way? Like what's the next level? Or what's my? Limiting?
I would say what was a limitation that you had to overcome? Like I would say in the last 1 or 2 years.
I think my core limitation or my core limiting belief has always been not being good enough. Like if you go into the core of it, you know what I mean? So like again, it's the same. Like I don't belong in this room. I shouldn't be on here. And will it work? Kind of thing. Like that kind of thing. But I think it's I just know I'm gonna be great. Like I just know. I am.
Yeah.
And something big is gonna happen. But it's like this. It's almost like this edge of like the universe is like waiting for me to jump. You know what I mean? So I don't know what it is, but there's something of like, yeah, I'm waiting, I'm getting ready, like I'm here right now. We're not big enough, like that kind of conversation I have internally. So I don't know what needs to happen to smash that.
Yeah.
But I know that's the breakthrough.
Yeah.
It's like
interesting
in the room, like on the basically like exactly what you're doing right now.
Yeah.
There, and I'm like, that was it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that makes sense.
So
it's a cool place to be.
Yeah, like I want to go corporate. I want to go to the US, like get our offer into the corporate world, like fucking like get clothing, supplements, like just the whole umbrella around. Like I always, study Grant Cardone a lot.
Yeah.
And I just like the thing.
Yeah.
It's like, it just looks like he has fun. There's a lot of people. There's a lot of energy. They're going to different places. They're creating a lot. Like I want the business model.
Yeah.
Operating a little bit in that way. I want my hands in a lot of pies, but it's under the umbrella of helping people.
Yeah, what's funny is one thing that as you were speaking, it came to me, because this is something I'm really working on, is like you said, it's like the energy, it's like the charisma, the people.
Yeah.
Dude, that's a big part of my next level too, is like everything that I've done online, it's time to take it in person.
Yeah.
So all the team training that I've been training my team online, I'm going to start training them in person.
Yeah.
The masterminds that I've been doing online, I want to start doing them in person.
Yeah.
Like that's like, I feel like
so.
The in-person stuff is really what's, because dude, especially in like 2024, there's so many people that I'll talk to on my Instagram that is like, they're like, is this an AI chatbot?
Yeah.
Because that's where the world is like heading.
Yeah.
And so I think that like in person, like let's bring people together, let's like have the energy. I think it's a huge part of the next level. I think it's a huge part of the next level.
Yeah. I think I actually saw a video with Layla Hermosi like 2 days ago, and they did some inventory of like gym launch when they're there, like to decrease the churn basically. And they're asking all their members, like, what's the most valuable thing you can get from us? Like, what's the best thing you can get from us?
Yeah.
And all of them said the live events.
Really?
They did.
All of them?
All of them. Like, their live event. They didn't care about the tech support. They didn't care about blah, blah, blah. It was like, we want the live events. Wow. So they just flipped that around and did a lot more live events.
Wow. Crazy.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's cool.
So, but I agree with you.
Cool. I like that.
Offline, that sort of thing. I think that's where you grow the balls.
That's
where you become a brand.
Yeah, exactly.
It really is.
Well, because it's like, dude, it's easy. It's easy to hide when you're online. When you're an online coach, it's easy to hide.
Yeah.
You can put on a face for 30 minutes. And then if you're having a bad day, you can just go have a bad day.
Yeah, exactly.
You can do your coaching call and then go back to having a bad day. But it's like when you're live in person, in front of people, it's like you can't hide. People see who you are.
Yeah.
So if you've been showing up, you've been putting the work, you've been doing the disciplines, you're integral, you're authentic. People can feel that.
Absolutely.
They feel that.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So what is your, like, I think I clicked in on one of your lives yesterday. You were talking about like goal setting, and then your wife, she was reminding you about why you didn't set your goals. Like, who are you? So what is your just like 60-second like routines? Like, what does that look like? Your personal development, your fitness, like how do you stay sharp?
Yeah. Number one, the first thing I do when I wake up every morning is I read a book based on faith. And so I have like a belief around spirituality. Like, I think everything's connected. We're all energy. Everything is like, I'm speaking to you, you're speaking to me, and there's like this like physical reality, but there's also like this energetic reality. So I do 15 minutes of reading on like the universe, quantum physics. And then after that 15 minutes, I meditate every day. So that's the first 30 minutes of my morning. Every morning, I never miss.
What's your meditation? Are you going into the whole like visualization, quantum physics?
All of it. Yeah. So it's like different. So like I have this book that has 24 weeks of exercises. So every week it's a different exercise. So today was all about insight. And so it was talking about how, people don't get their life transformed through information. They get it transformed through action. And oftentimes our action is based on our subconscious habit. And so today's exercise was thinking about how like anytime you want to, change your life, you need to learn a new piece of information, and then you need to figure out how to take that piece of information and turn it into an automatic action so you can turn it into a habit. So that's what today's exercise is about. Sometimes it'll be about like visualization, sometimes it'll be about your goals, sometimes it'll be about like letting go. So that's the first 30 minutes of the day. Now I have a letter to myself that I like wrote down at the start of the year, and it's all of my goals written as if they're already accomplished. As an example, I'm so grateful that I have 250,000 Instagram followers. I'm so grateful that I made $15 million this year. I'm so grateful, so all of the goals that I want to accomplish in health, wealth, relationships, and self, I wrote them down as if they're already accomplished, expressing gratitude. That's the first thing I listen to after I'm done my meditation. So once my mind is primed, then I like fill it with my vision. After I fill it with my vision, then I attack the day. So that's my morning. throughout the day I do affirmations. So like I'll be driving my scooter and my affirmation.
Your scooter,
dude. Yeah, bro. Or my Lambo.
In Canada.
Yeah, in Canada it's the Lambo. Yeah. And I'm like every day in every way I'm getting better and better and better. Yeah, every day and every way. It's Prince EA. Yeah. Every day in every way I'm getting better and better and better. So like I'm driving my scooter, it's affirmations. I'm driving my car, it's affirmations.
When crash into a car,
yeah. Dude, I'm doing it, bro.
Yeah. You're like, I'm good.
No, I wouldn't crash into the car because every day I'm getting better and better. Yeah. So that's that, and then throughout the day I just listen to success motivation. So if I'm like getting ready before I come to see you, listen to success motivation. Like I'm always keeping my mind programmed with positivity because I think the world is programmed to keep you negative.
Absolutely.
The news headlines, the TV, every television show, every reality show is based on drama, all these things happening. So I try to keep myself success focused, driven. Like I just want to only think about things that are constructive that can help me grow.
Yeah. Love that.
Yeah.
It's very simple, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like it's very simple. And then, assume you train and stuff and, you watch your diet and these sort of things there. Yeah.
I would say yes. And also I do intermittent fasting personally, only when I'm on vacation, because when I'm home, I always count my macros because it's just easier. But when I'm like in a place like Bali, we're going out for food all the time. We never really know where we're going to eat. Yeah. And so I do keep a high protein diet, but I also for me, I only intermittent fast because I know that I can eat within an 8-hour window and keep my calories around 2,500, 3,000. So I intermittent fast in Bali, but I work out 5 times a week. But again, that's something I don't even think about that. Like I would never miss a gym session because if I miss a gym session, I'm less confident on the phone. I have less energy.
Exactly.
It's like I would never miss it. So it's like it's so weird to me to even consider that people would skip the gym.
Yeah,
it's weird.
Yeah,
I would never miss it.
Yeah, it goes back to the thing of like mastering that one thing. And I think fitness is the foundation.
I agree. I agree. Like I'm a business coach and I agree 100%. Yeah. Which is why even as a business coach, it's like I think it's that important. I think fitness is the foundation for everything. If you're unhappy with your life, fitness is where you should start because when you transform your body, you can see it physically. Yeah. Whereas if you're trying to become happier, how do you measure happiness?
Exactly. Meditate, and what's happening.
But it's you can see your body transforming.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. So, I want to shift some gears into business stuff and these sort of things right now because you've obviously been number one right now in a while. So you definitely have some good advice around that. So for what would you say, beginning entrepreneurs? Yeah. Or people that are thinking about, hey, I want to move to Bali, I want to work from a laptop, what can I do? You know? What would you say is the sort of the 3 key skills? Let's say somebody comes from a corporate job and they've done whatever, like HR or sales. Let's just use sales, What would you say is the sort of the key skills a beginning entrepreneur needs to learn to become successful as quick as possible?
First things first is you need to understand that your Instagram is your business card. So somebody DMs me and wants to work for me, first thing I do is I check out the profile. So it's if you're an entrepreneur, so I'm going to sidebar that actually. I think the first thing that you should do if you're looking to get into entrepreneurship and you're working corporate, you want to move to Bali, is you should do sales. Dude, I think sales is the number one skill set that you can develop, period, across the board. No questions asked. I think it's the number one because if you can sell yourself, dude, you can do anything. And so if you're thinking about getting into entrepreneurship, you don't know what to do, I would recommend finding or looking for a commission-based job where you could close for somebody. Maybe there's somebody in your network that has a company that you could close for. Maybe you know somebody online. Maybe you've been following somebody that you love their content. Maybe you could shoot them a DM and be like, hey, let me close for you. I'll close for you for free for the first 5 calls just to prove that I can do it. And then once I prove I can do it, then I'll get some commission. Yeah. I would do that. If I was just getting started and I had no skill, I would close for people. If you're fit like us, dude, be an online fitness coach. Straight up. It's such a good way to share your passion for fitness and help other people. Thinking about moving to Bali, quitting your job and just going all in, better have a nest egg. For 3 to 5 to 7 months of I'm not making any money, because it's possible you could land a job as a closer or get your business started or start e-com or drop shipping, but it's also very possible that you don't do that. And so I think a lot of people, me personally, I'm the type of person where if I burn the boats, I would rather die than fail. Yeah. So I'm not going to fail. I'm going to figure it out. That's actually how entrepreneurship started for me in Bali. It was I traveled here. This was 7 years ago. I was still working at my bartending jobs. And I had $3,500 in the bank initially when I flew over to Australia. Me and a girl were dating at the time. We split up. And when I got to Australia, I tried to like go see her. And she was like, nope, not going to see you. So I got super wasted in Australia with a couple of my other friends, went out to the casino, spent $3,000. And then the next day I flew to Bali and I woke up like hungover in Bali and I looked at my bank account and I had $500. And I'm like there for 3 weeks. So I'm like, if I don't make money, like I'm like not going to be
You're doing the bartending there.
I wasn't bartending in Bali. I was just traveling.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but you were doing that at home. You weren't doing any.
I had like 1 or 2 online clients. So I knew that I could make money, but I was making like $250 a month.
Yeah.
So I remember getting there and I was like, well, I've got 2 options. Option number 1, this is what I felt like at the time. I was like, I could die here because that's what I felt like. I was like, option number 2 is I could figure out a way to make money. So I was like, I'm going to figure out a way to make money. So I launched a 6-week challenge. I ended up selling 10 people, made $5,000. And after that, I realized I was like, if I can do this in Bali, I can do this literally anywhere. And then that's what made me go all in. So if you're a newer entrepreneur, I think a lot of people thrive in situations like that. I think some people don't. Regardless, I think you should have a nest egg of like, 3 to 5 to 7 months worth of like, I'm not going to make any extra money expenses. And if you're new, I would start in sales. Dude. Sales 100%. Yeah. Because you could have no skill, have a little bit of sales experience, watch 10 hours of YouTube, get enough sales experience to go close for somebody. And then it's just reps.
Yeah. I agree because that's that's the lifeblood of any business. Anybody wants anybody that can sell.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's straight cash to that person. You know what I mean? So sales. I hear sales. Like find something you're good at, like some sort
sales. And the Instagram profile's got to be your business card. This is a big one because again, if you you send somebody a DM, you got no profile picture. Yeah. It looks like you haven't updated your stuff in like a year and a half. There's no pictures on your account. Nobody's gonna take you seriously. Yeah. But you got a few high quality photos on your newsfeed. You look professional. You look good. Yeah. You look like you take care of yourself. You send somebody a DM, they're gonna reply. Yeah. So you got to make sure your profile is your business card.
So how do you, because you're good with that, like how do you speak to those people that don't really want to put themselves out there? How do they clean up their Instagram, become professional? This is the direction I want to go in. Let's say I want to do sales. Yeah. What would be like, how do they clean it up? Like how do they start putting themselves out there? Should they start shooting content around sales or should they just be like presentable?
Yeah, so I would say presentable, especially if you don't want to put yourself out there. So you could, change up your profile picture to one of you smiling or one where you just like look good. Yeah. I would say your bio should be like what you're doing or what you want to do. Like I do high ticket closing for people that have a service-based business. Yep. And then I think your profile should like tell who you are. I've like if you want to be a sales coach or like that's what you want to get into, post sales content. But if you're looking to be a closer for somebody else, I think it should just look like you take care of yourself. Yeah. Like if I'm gonna go to somebody's page, if they're taking their photos in like an iPhone, like with an iPhone 6 in a dark room and I can't see their face, like I'm out. Yeah, like no thank you, bro. I don't want you closing my clients. Yeah. But I go to your page and you got a smile, you're like looking good, you're taking care of yourself, you're at the gym, like 100% I'm gonna consider that. Yeah. So I think that you can make your profile look professional without putting yourself out there for sure.
Agree, yeah. So it goes back again to like clean yourself up. Like if you're not like get in shape, get fresh and that sort of thing. Yeah, totally. So into sales and these sort of things, like what, like, because I love sales too. Like I just love it because I truly believe sales is the ultimate personal development.
100%.
Like it really just is personal development one-on-one. Yes. You learn something and you apply it straight away the same day. Fuck, it worked.
Yes, and also, and you apply straight away and then you get rejected, you get a door slammed in your face. Yeah. So you got to constantly deal with that. Like sales is one of those skill sets where you literally get punched in the face every single day and you just got to keep showing up with a smile on your face.
Exactly, yeah. So what is sales to you, and do you think most people can do it, or like do you feel it's a certain character, it's a certain person that can do that? Like what is sales to you?
Dude, I think that sales is fucking awesome. I really do. Because what other career do you have where you're in full control of your income? Yeah. Like if I have 5 calls in my calendar today and I show up with like energy, passion, enthusiasm, belief, those calls, like bro, I close all 5 of those calls. I make like 20 grand, 30 grand. I'm like laughing. Yeah. I'm like, let's go. That's great.
Exactly.
What other career do you have that? Yeah. Every other career on the planet, like there's no other career where you can just rock up and like based on your energy and your passion, you're going to get paid a certain amount for that day. Dude, sales is awesome. I love sales. And I think that I think anybody could be successful at sales. I think what holds people back from it is the fear of rejection, because nobody likes getting a door slammed in their face. And so it's like that a lot of people get a couple doors slammed in their face with sales and like, oh, I don't want to do it, right? Or they don't want that person to like close the door. It's like, for me, it's like, I want the door closed. Like I know, like as I know, if you close the door in my face, like number one, I've used it as a challenge. So like if I can get somebody that says hard no to me on the phone and I can close them, I'm like, like, you know, that feels good. But also like if I actually get a door slammed on my face and I know I literally did everything I possibly could to convert that person, like I go to bed happy. Yeah. You know, so I think it is personal development, but I think the biggest part of personal development is like getting rejected time and time and time again, and being excited to show up again and be like, nice to meet you. You know, I also view it as like an opportunity, a vehicle to transform people's lives, especially when you're selling a product you believe in. Like for me, like, dude, I know my program's so good. Like I know it's good. I'm sure you feel the same way. I know it's good. I know if you join, you're not going to be the same person. And so when I talk to somebody that I know for a fact I can help, and he's like, I don't know. I'm like, bro.
Do you get aggressive or do you get like?
I get passionate. My videographer's laughing. I get passionate. Oh I'm like, you have no idea, dude. Like I'll talk to a guy. I talked to a guy the other day who had, he had like 41,000 Instagram followers. He was making $2,000 a month at his like 9-to-5 job, and his reels are getting 15, 20, 30,000 views, and I'm just like, bro. He's like, I don't know if I can afford it. I was like, dude, just pretend you're in my situation right now, and like you can see what I see in you. Just take some of my belief and like just trust me on this one. He's like, all right. So he signed up. The next day, I signed up, paid him full client. Made $1,000. And he sent me a picture. His girl like bought him a cake because he like signed his first client. And I was like,
that's awesome.
I love that.
That's awesome.
I love that.
Yeah, that's cool, man. Like what you do in that sort of thing right now, it's like. I see it. It's very rewarding, and I love the business aspect as well, and I'm leaning towards that in the future as well. Because it's like, fitness is the beginning. That's the foundation. But when you can add like freedom and finances into the soup, like you changing lives. You're changing lives. You're changing families. Like, how does that feel? Like,
incredible. Dude. Like incredible. Even like the first life I ever changed was my wife's. Like not as because I'm obviously an awesome husband. I'm just. But she was working 2 jobs, 16 hours a day. She was working 8 hours a day as a personal trainer in a gym, and then 8 hours a day at Original Joe's, 6 to 8 hours a day at Original Joe's. She'd have 2 hours in the middle to pick up her daughter from school, and then once she picked up her daughter from school, she was back to work. That was her life. And when me and her got together, like I was her business coach for the first like 6 months of us knowing each other. And she went from, working in person full time at Original Joe's to being able to sustainably be over $20,000 a month in her own coaching business. She was able to quit her in-person job, quit Original Joe's. Funny story, we actually bought the gym that she used to work at, which is hilarious. But like it started there, and now not only like have I had the opportunity to like see her step up as a mom and just be a better mom, be more present for Haley, our daughter, because she has the time freedom. But also like, dude, she's impacting, she has almost 1.5 million social media followers now. So she went from this person that was like completely unknown on social media, 3,000 to 5,000 followers, to now when she makes a video, she'll get like 1, 2, 3 million views of women that are like, thank you so much. And I needed to hear this.
That's amazing.
So it's like, not only did I change her life, but I also changed our daughter's life. I changed our family's life. And then now she's impacting social media, and she's changing like millions of people's lives. She also has 1,500 active clients in her roster, and like, dude, like her girls are like getting tattoos of her logo on their arm. Like they're like die hard, bro.
That's
like
sick ass,
so it's like that's one person. I've worked with 6,000 in the last few years. So some of the stories I hear, bro, are crazy. Like one of my clients, Diana Benitez. Diana might actually listen to this podcast because she likes to listen to my content still to this day after 5 years. She literally gave me her last $500. This was like 3 years ago now. And she was like, I'll do whatever it takes to succeed. So gave me her last $500. And she just like got into the program, started hustling, started grinding. Her entire family is from Honduras. And when she got into the program, she told me, she's like 24 years old at the time. She's like, I just want to be able to provide for my family back in Honduras. So a year and a half after working with me, she's making $15,000, $20,000 a month. She buys her mom a home back in Honduras. And she's employing both of her sisters now that are back in Honduras to like work for her full time. And she's like sustainably doing 6 figures now, but like she literally is like the lifeline for her entire family back in Honduras. And she like sends me videos and messages all the time, just like thanking me. I'm like, dude, that's the game, bro.
Yeah, that's the game. It really is the game.
That is the game.
It is the game.
That is the game. And the way that she's making that money is by changing people's lives. So it's like end to end. End to end, bro. It's like that is like
the way. That is so many people.
That is the life. That is the life.
Love that, bro.
That is the life I want to live.
Good for you. Good for you. And good for us, man. Good for all of us. Like
100%.
That actually like, we get into business because we want to work on ourselves and we want to get to a place, but in that process, like you shift from me to we, like me to us.
I like what you said at the start of the podcast about responsibility. I think it's valuable. Yeah, really valuable. Like it's not just about me anymore.
You literally become upset. You get sad and upset when you hear like it can be any bad feedback or something is happening.
100%.
You take it personally, right?
100%.
Same. I'm like, I
get on a call. How can I help? What can I do? Yeah. Like what do you need? Yeah, 100%. I'm the exact same as you.
Yeah. To wrap around the sales thing there right now, so when you're getting your guys into the program, what would you say is the character trait of a good salesperson? Like you mentioned, energy, conviction, belief, and that sort of thing. And also walk me through just a short, like what would be your approach to sales? Like clarify the pain, figure out where they're at. Like how do you structure a good sales conversation?
Yeah. So character traits of a good salesman, I think. You need to be hungry to make more money. If you're not hungry to make more money, you're just not gonna rock up with a smile on your face every day. You need to be passionate about the product that you're selling. Dude, you don't even need to know the product that you're selling. If you're passionate about it, if you're like, dude, this is lit. Like people can feel that. And dude, I think third thing is like you need to be willing to get punched in the face every single day and show up with a smiley face. Like every single day, getting a door slammed in your face and be like, thank you, I hope you have a fantastic day. Like that energy, that attitude of getting a no and then being willing to like shake it off and go into the next call and be like, what's going on? How's it going, Simon? Hope you're having the best day of your life. What are you doing over there in Bali, brother? Yeah. Having a good day?
Yes.
Awesome, dude. Yeah, I'm having a great day. It's plus 30 over here. We're vibing, dude. Yeah. So like having that, being willing to turn that on at all times, I think is important.
It's like acting, you know what I mean? Like it's just 100%. So repetitive in your mind. It's like bang, you're on character.
Yeah. As soon as the call starts, bro, it's like the energy's on.
Yeah.
I think the way that you should position your calls is like, I think it depends. I don't do any cold outreach. So just full transparency, if you listen to this here in sales, you do cold outreach. I don't do that. All my calls that rock up to me have booked a consult. Well, they're like warmish, but they've booked a consult with me. And so the way that I like to start my calls is like, yo, what's going on, Simon? Hope you're having the best day ever, bro. What's going on over there? How you doing? Good?
Yeah, good. Yeah,
good. That's awesome, man. What are you up to?
Not much, bro. Doing a podcast with you.
Oh, nice, dude. That's awesome. Yeah. I'm doing a podcast with you too. Listen, Simon, I've actually got a few meetings to get to today. Are you cool if we jump right in?
Absolutely.
Boom. So I had a time constraint within the first like 30 to 60 seconds of the call.
Yeah.
The reason I do that is because like I want to position myself as higher status as soon as the call starts. They also don't want to waste their time. They know why they're there. They know why you're there. Let's just get into it. Then I just always do a pre-frame. So Simon, what we're going to do in today's call is I'm going to walk you through, what you're struggling with right now, talk about your goals and see if I can help you out. If I can help you out, I'd love to invite you to work with me. If I can't help you out, I'll definitely point you in a different direction. Is that okay?
Yeah. Yep.
Cool. So what brought you to this call with me today, Simon? Boom. First, within the first 60 seconds, they know I'm busy. They know why they're there, and then I make them sell themselves to me within the first 60 seconds.
What do you say in the beginning there with the business? Do you say you have a couple of calls, so like I want to make this short?
Yeah. So I say I've got a few calls to get to today. I've got a bunch of meetings, Simon. Are you cool if we jump right in?
Yeah, got it. Yeah.
So I'm like, I add that time constraint, so I'm busy, and then the pre-frame goes. We're going to talk about your struggles, your goals. I'm going to give you a game plan. Yeah. At the end of the call, I'll let you know whether or not I can help. If I can, I'll invite you to work with me in my coaching program. If I can't, I'll point you in a different direction. Is that cool?
Yeah.
And then as soon as you say yes, I'm like, okay, cool. What brought you to this call with me today, Simon? Boom. Now you're selling yourself to me.
Yeah.
It's like we're 2 minutes in and now you're telling me why you're here.
Yeah.
Okay, why did you choose, obviously you could have canceled the call. You could have not showed up. You're here. You chose me to get on a consult with. Why is that?
Yeah.
It's like, I want you to tell me why you're here. Well, I follow your content. I've been consuming all your stuff. I'm like doing stuff, right? So that's how I like to run my calls. And then I go into pain. So I always talk about their biggest struggle. Once I've identified, like when I talk about pain, this is the thing is like, I think people only think about pain related to the product, but I like to think about pain of why they're on the call. And so sometimes I'll talk to somebody and like, what's been the biggest struggle with growing your online coaching business? And they're like, well, I'm really like, I don't know what to post on social media. And, I'm really struggling with getting my business started. I'm like, okay, cool. Like, how long have you been struggling with that? Oh, like the last 3 years, like I fucking hate my job. And I'm like, whoa, what do you mean? They're like, well, I just don't like my job. I'm like, okay, how long have you worked there?
Yeah.
2 years. Oh, you've worked at your job for 2 years and you hate it? Yeah, it's like, it just drains me. Why don't you like it? Like that's the one.
That's the one. That's the selling point. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So like that's what I'm going to focus on. Fuck like the logistics of the business. I'll teach you that.
Yeah.
But like that's what I want to focus on. Once I get them really feeling that, I'm like, so you're telling me you've been working at this job that you hate for the last 2 years while you've been trying to grow your online coaching business and nothing's worked? And they're like, yep. I'm like, ouch. Okay.
And I'm like, yeah.
All right. Okay. What would you say your goal is? And I just move on. I'm not going to validate them. I'm not going to make that feel good. No. I'm not going to like ease the pain. I'm going to fucking boom. I'm going to let it sit. And then I'm just going to move on. Okay. Well, like, what are your goals? Bam. We're on a different conversation now.
Yeah.
And then now that I know what you want, why haven't you been able to achieve it on your own? Once they sell themselves to me, why they haven't been able to come up with a solution, then I qualify them near the end of the call. And I'll say something like, you know, Simon, when I work with guys, typically speaking, my program guarantees results. And, you know, I've worked with thousands of online trainers and they've gotten incredible results for them. And because my program guarantees results, like I only take on serious people because, you know, I don't want to send you your money back after 6 months because you didn't do the work.
Yeah.
And so, you know, on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being this is like, I don't really care about this goal isn't important to me. And 10 being I will do whatever it takes to succeed. Where are you sitting on that scale? Let's say you say a 9. I'm like, okay, where's that extra 1 point? And they'll be like, well, you know, I just need to make sure it fits the budget. I'm like, okay, fair enough. Like, let's say we did find something that did fit the budget. Are you still a 9 out of 10 committed to your goals, or are you 10 out of 10? Well, I'm definitely 10 out of 10. So now I've got a commitment, right? So then obviously we're going to talk about the finances later in the call. But
you say that like after all the qualification, the pain points and that sort of thing, you haven't even pitched the program or shown the program.
Yeah. So as soon as I'm done, so I do pre-frame. So I do start the call, a little bit of rapport, time constraint. Pre-frame. After the pre-frame, we do pain points. Once I have a pain point that I know is bam, that's the one. Then I get clear on their goal, where they want to go, why it's important to them, how it would feel if we accomplish that goal. You know, Simon, if we were able to help you hit $50,000 a month in the next 6 months, how would that feel? Once I get clear on how that would feel, then I move on to because I only work with serious people. Then I do that. After I do that, I'm like, okay, great. So Simon, you're a 10 out of 10, so you're definitely the type of dude that I can help. Would you mind if I tell you about how my coaching program works?
Sure, yeah.
Perfect. So I'm going to do me a favor, Simon. Do you have a pen and paper with you? I'm doing this because I want to increase my status. Do you have a pen and paper with you?
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay, great.
Are you on a call or Zoom?
I'm on a call. Yeah.
No Zoom?
Nope.
Okay.
Do me a favor, grab a pen and paper. Okay, so at the top of the piece of paper, I want you to write down 50K Simon. Perfect. You got that? Okay, great. So I want you to do me a favor and draw a triangle in the middle of the piece of paper. Can you see that? Top of the triangle, I want you to write down the word attract. Now, the first thing we need to teach you how to do, Simon, is like attract online fitness coaching clients. Right now, you're making $0 per month. And so you have no idea how to post on social media. You have no idea what content works. I'm going to give you content templates, DM scripts, phone templates, etc. I'm going to teach you exactly what to post so you bring on more eyeballs. Cool?
Yeah.
Perfect. The next part of the model, bottom right, I want you to write down the word convert. And basically, anytime you see somebody that's like interested in your offer, you need to be able to take them from like a conversation all the way to a phone call. I'm going to teach you how to get somebody who's interested into a phone consultation and then to a paying client. Cool? Last piece of the puzzle, bottom right or bottom left, I want you to write down the word delivery. Now, delivery means that you fill in the promise. So if you tell a client you're going to help them lose 20 pounds, you do whatever it takes. I'm going to show you what apps to use, onboarding, emails, welcome packages, all the stuff that you don't know how to do. I'm just going to give you templates. You just need to follow them. Cool? And that's how we get more clients. We attract more clients, convert more clients, deliver an amazing service, and that's how we grow our business. Now, Simon, you seem like a smart guy, so I want you to do me a favor. I don't talk about this all the time on calls, but with you, I'm going to write down the word scale in the middle of the triangle. Once we attract clients, convert clients, deliver an amazing service, that's going to get you to 10K a month. Then we need to scale the business. And the way that we're going to scale the business is we're going to hire people to help us with these 3 departments. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
All right, perfect, brother. So what part of the model do you feel like you need the most help with?
It will be the attracting.
And why is that?
Just because, you know, organic, I haven't posted much on social media, you know, being busy with work and that sort of thing, so I don't really know how to attract.
Fair enough. All right, brother. Okay, cool. All right, bro, so where do you think we should go from here?
Well, tell me how we get started, like what's the deliverable, what's the program?
Yep, okay. So it's 10K for 12 months. And what you're going to get with that is you get 12 months of coaching and support with me. So we've got a step-by-step blueprint, and we got that results-based guarantee, which basically means if you don't generate $10,000 worth of revenue in 6 months, we'll send it back to you in full. We've also got the live coaching calls and the support, you know, so we've got the, 3 calls where you get one where you get actually direct access to me. So any questions you ever have, you can always log in and you can just ask me directly. A lot of coaching programs don't offer that. I don't like that. And then third thing is the Facebook community. Any question you ever have to answer within 24 hours by 2 coaches. That way you're never confused and you never, don't know what to do in your business. Cool?
Yeah.
All right, bro. Where do you think we should go from here?
Is it paid in full, or like do you have payment plans, or what do you have?
Yeah, typically speaking, it's paid in full. Yeah.
Yeah. I could do that.
Okay. Is that a yes or a fuck yes? Because I'm looking for a fuck yes from you.
It's a lot of money for me right now. It's like the cash up front is a lot of money.
Okay. So just want to be super clear, like finances aside, the program sounds amazing. It sounds like everything you need. We just need to work out something for the budget. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct.
So if we found something that was like more feasible for the budget, would it make it possible for you to get started?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. So, again, I don't really like doing this because I prefer if guys pay up front, because usually when guys pay up front, they're more committed. So if I did offer you some sort of payment plan, can I just get your word that you're actually going to follow through on the program and you're not going to be one of those guys that logs into the portal and doesn't do anything?
Yeah.
Okay. So what we could do for you today, Simon, is we do 5K for you right now. And then we'll do 5K to get started, and we'll do 5K in the next 30 days. If you do need another 30 days after that, you message me in 30 days. You're like, yo, B, I want to generate a little more income. I'm cool with that. But 5K gets you started right now, and I want to do that for you because I believe in you, and I think we can help you win. Is that okay?
Yeah. Let's do it.
Is that a fuck yes?
Let's do it, bro.
That's a fuck yes.
Let's
all right,
go.
Bro.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
So, because you like, one, you're on a call, you're not on a Zoom.
Yeah.
And two, it seems like it's quite like even your pillars and explaining about the program.
Yeah.
How long does it normally take? Like
I would say,
what we did?
I would say I can close in 25 minutes.
Wow.
Yeah, I can close in 25
Bro,
minutes.
I'm spending an hour.
I can close.
I'm spending an hour. Like I'm doing something. Like there's so much. There's too much in there now. Like it's
Dude,
just like.
I think that I think you need to simplify it.
I know.
The reason I do the pillars is because people can see the visual.
Exactly.
It's
yeah.
like, so for you, it could be like nutrition, nutrition training, accountability, right? And then you got your triangle, and then whatever model you choose. You can draw me 3 circles, right?
Yeah.
3 circles, and then in the middle circle, it's you like 20 pounds down, 6-pack shredded.
Yeah.
On top of the circle, I want you to write down the word nutrition. Blah 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 blah. And this is how we create a comprehensive plan. So then they see the visual, and it's like, because online training, what is really online training?
Exactly.
It's this abstract concept. Like, I'm going to get on a Zoom call with you and change your life.
Yeah,
so if they can see a visual, it helps them understand it. Once they understand it, they're more confident moving forward.
Yeah. I do a pitch deck.
Yeah.
But that's why it's like fucking like the whole triangle thing takes 10 minutes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like so.
Yeah.
But interesting.
Yeah.
Very very interesting to see like, because that's what it's about. Like that's efficiency. Do you do one call as well? One call close?
Yep.
Bro, that's what, like, sometimes I feel like an absolute idiot.
Yeah.
Like, it's not even me, but I just feel like we are, like, I don't know, the vehicle, or like we're doing something wrong. I'm like, why? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You probably feel that with fitness and that sort of thing as well.
Dude,
like, you're sitting in Algorithm with a guy for $1,000 or $2,000 or $3,000.
Yeah, dude. Every level brings a new devil, man.
That's right.
Every level brings a new devil. There's levels to the game right now that, like, I literally had a guy talk to me today about what it's gonna take for me to scale my business to like 9 figures, 100 million.
Yeah.
And he literally was saying things to me that I was like looking at him like, I have no fucking clue what you're talking about. Bro.
Exactly.
I'm like, I have no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah.
And they like he would like drop a bomb. Chris, he'd drop a bomb and then he'd just walk away. And me and like Nick were looking at each other. We're like, what did you just say, dude? Like, I'm like, I don't even know what you just said, bro.
Yeah. I love that shit. I love that.
Well,
you obviously, I don't know, are you strapped on time or you all good?
I'm chill, bro.
Beautiful. Yeah. I mean, we're in Bali, man.
Yeah, exactly.
There's no time. Yeah. There's only a sunset. Sunset and sunrise, You're good with social media.
Yeah.
Okay, that's how you built your business and these sort of things. Yeah. So how have you been going about growing your audience while still making money without tapping out the audience and without like withdrawing and that sort of thing? So what's your social media strategy to actually grow and make money at the same time?
I don't believe you can tap out your audience. I think that's a limiting belief.
Okay.
Yeah. So my position on social media is, if you come to my content right now and you watch 20 of my reels, I guarantee you could make some money. That's the angle that I take with social media, is I want my content to be so good that if somebody found me on social media and they had no idea who I was, they watched 2 or 3 of my reels and they're like, whoa, this is good shit, I get a lot of people. The guy I got on a call with the other day, I was like, so what brought you to this call with me today? And he's like, dude, I was literally browsing social media yesterday, and I was scrolling through reels looking for a business coach, I wanted to get my business off the ground. I was looking at another guy. I was going to take action on his program. And then I came across one of your reels. He's like, then I came to your page and I watched like 30 of your reels. And then I was like, dude, this guy just gave me more sauce in like 5 minutes than I got from that guy after following him for 2 years.
Yeah.
So when it comes to social media, like I really do think that the game is give away so much value that people would rather consume your content than follow other people. That's how I like to play it. And in regards to like, how do you communicate that in the algorithm? Because I know a lot of people hear that and they're like, I've been doing that, bro. Like that hasn't been working. There's a difference between the value. So that there's value that you think is valuable, and then there's value that Instagram thinks is valuable.
Exactly,
and you have to play both of those games.
Right.
So in order to know how to give because like if you don't give Instagram value, they're not going to give you views. So what does Instagram want? Well, you have to understand Instagram's goals. Instagram as a platform, their goal is to keep people on the platform for longer. Why? Because when you're on the platform for longer, they can sell your attention to advertisers. And so the people that are creating content that keeps people on the platform for longer are the people that are getting rewarded with the views. So if your video is shareable, it's likable, people are saving it, they're commenting on it, they're sharing it with their friends. If it has those like viral elements, you will go viral because Instagram wants to reward you because you're helping them accomplish their goals. So you've got two things, right? You got your message and what you want to say, like how you help people transform their lives. And then you've got Instagram's, goals and aspirations, and you've got to create content that's in the middle. So how do you take your knowledge and add viral packaging? And there's a bunch of different aspects to that. But for me, I always try to think like the first 3 seconds of the video are everything. So if your hook sucks, the video sucks. Oftentimes you guys can get a lot better with your content just by changing the hook. As an example, let's say for personal trainers, a lot of people are like, here are 3 tips to help you lose weight. Instead of doing that, you could literally start your video by being like, stop eating like a dumbass. Do this instead. Just boom. Now you've got their attention. They're like, what? Right? And they're like, stop eating like a dumbass. You're eating a McDonald's burger. And then you're like, do this instead. And then you start talking and you're giving value. Like that hook by itself would like grab people's attention, make them watch the video for longer. So I think it's about understanding what your core message is and then understanding what Instagram's goals are and putting viral packaging on your core message. Yeah.
What do you say to, because Alex and Moses is very big on that as well. Like why should I listen to you?
Yeah.
And I think, maybe you're right. Like if I'm thinking about myself as well, like it's just not that good, the content, and that's why it doesn't go viral. But like, if you're nobody, where, whatever in that universe, like how do you go about like pushing for like authority, knowledge, helping people in that sort of thing? Because who are you? And then towards like the viral stuff. Like, you know what I mean? Like how do you go about that? Like,
I think you need to find what makes you unique.
Yeah.
So for me, if you look at all my videos, I got my hair slicked a certain way, my beard's cut a certain way, because when people see me, they're like, that's like, they know me, they know my brand, they know my message. I also think that when you're first getting started, you really need to experiment. I think for you, you need to lean into the fact that you got like a fucking, like a sexy Danish accent, People want, like, it's going to make you stand out than everybody else. Like you've got a different fucking voice. That by itself will make you stand out. So I think leaning into that. I also think that this is a blanket statement that applies to every industry. Start your videos with negativity. So instead of being like, let me help you transform your life, be like, if you hate your life and you're not happy with where you're at, listen up because I want to help you transform. Start your videos, because what people don't understand is that, my business partner Cole always says this. This isn't a me quote, so I'm going to give him the quote. He says, people always say that love is a universal language, but that's not true, because not everyone has experienced love. Some people have been like left, babies get left in dumpsters all the time. It's like, so like love isn't a universal language. Pain is. Like all of us might not have experienced what unconditional love truly feels like, but all of us have experienced pain. And so if you think about whatever industry that you're in, the people that are going to buy your products are the ones that are in pain. They're the ones that don't like the person that they see in the mirror. They're the ones that aren't happy with the results that they're getting. They're the ones that don't like the way that their stomach feels when it like hangs over their belt. They're the ones that avoid every mirror that they walk by. They're the ones that don't take their shirt off at the beach when they're at the beach. They're the ones that don't have sex with their partner because they don't feel good. Like those are the people that are going to buy. So those are the people you speak to in your content, right? And then you give them the value. And it's like, I also think that, whatever industry you're in, like you should have the result that people want.
Yeah.
So if you're selling fitness, you better be fit.
Yeah.
You know, for me, I'm selling business coaching. I better have a successful business.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, it's like, otherwise, why am I trying to teach something that I don't understand? So I think that figuring out what makes you unique, you know, having negativity in your hooks and making sure that you have the result that you're trying to sell. Like the broke financial advisor is a fucking joke to me. It's like, don't be the person that doesn't have the result trying to sell the thing that you don't understand.
Yeah. Be the example.
Yeah.
Be the example. Yeah.
Yeah.
So what, like, I watched your video on YouTube where you're like, you helped that guy make, I don't know, how much did he make? Yeah.
$8,619 in 8 hours.
In 8 hours, you know. And that's what I'm saying. Like, this is very good content because it's so applicable and so tangible.
Yeah.
So, what is your best practices? What is your best strategies on organic right now? Let's just say whatever, beginner or like any, like you can employ that into a 100K a month business. You know what I mean? What's your best strategies organically to make money fast, but also make money consistently? So it's not just like a fluffy thing, but it's like, you know, whatever, like a case study or a challenge or something you can run.
So I'm going to answer both questions because they're different ones.
Yeah.
You said, what's your best strategy to make money fast? The best one that I found to make money fast is a 4-day challenge.
4-day.
A 4-day challenge. Right. Yeah. So 4-day challenge is something where you set up like, who's your avatar as an example?
Well, sales professionals, like 30 years old men, 40 years old men.
Okay. So the 4-day, like burn fat, build muscle, 4-day free challenge for men.
Yeah.
For sales professionals, whatever.
Yeah.
And so in that 4-day challenge, you're literally giving them like 4 actionable trainings that are valuable enough for them to take action on, 4 free workouts, and then you're booking calls throughout the challenge. For me, 4-day challenges have always worked really well because they're really easy to say yes to. They're a short time commitment. And so this is the hack, is in your application form for your 4-day challenge, there's like 5 or 6 questions, struggling with what are your goals, you know, why are you joining? And then there's a question that says, at the end of the 4-day challenge, I'm going to present you the opportunity to work with me in my 90-day transformation program. Are you interested? Yes or no? And if they vote yes,
say that again. What's that?
Yeah. So it says, like say that again. Yeah. Use that. So at the end of the, you know, burn fat, build muscle 4-day challenge, I'm going to present you with the opportunity to work with me in my 90-day transformation challenge.
Yeah.
Are you interested?
Yeah.
Yes or no? And then there's a yes or no. So the people that vote yes, the next line, there's a bracket that says optional.
Yeah.
Optional. Leave your phone number for a free 50-minute phone consultation to talk about your fitness goals. So people that vote yes and then choose to leave their phone number when it's optional want to buy your shit. So before the challenge even starts, I send them a text. I'm like, yo, Simon, is this you? And they're like, yeah, who's this? I'm like, yo, it's Brian from Instagram. Saw you join the 4-day challenge, brother. I'm super excited. It's like, oh yeah, I'm super excited, bro. I'm like, thanks for messaging me. I'm like, great. So I saw you left your phone number for a free fitness consult. Next step is to get booked into my calendar. Send them the calendar link. Go ahead and book in now, brother. Spots always fill up quick. Send me a screenshot and let me know what time you pick. Cool. And then he sends me a screenshot. I'm like, cool, man. Just want to say thanks for booking in. I've got a free ebook for you as well. I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Bam. Send me the book. Done. And that sales call is a sales call. He shows up to the call, same thing. Yo, Simon, what's going on, brother? How you doing, man? Doing good? Great, bro. Yeah, it's a great day in Bali. I'm actually recording a podcast right now with my guy in a podcast studio. Listen, I've got a few calls to get to today. Are you cool if we jump right in?
Yeah.
Boom. Sales call.
And how do you then explain the challenge? Like he's like, oh, I'm just going to do the challenge for 4 days and then see. How do you do that?
That's a great question. So that's what a lot of people struggle with. So what I'll do is on the call, I do the same pre-frame. So what I'm going to do in today's call, Simon, is I'm going to ask you a few questions about your goals, you know, what you're struggling with and, you know, what you want to achieve. And at the end of the call, if I feel like you're a good fit for the program, I'll invite you to work with me. And if I don't feel like you're a good fit, you know, you can just do the 4-day challenge and we can take from there. Is that cool?
Yeah.
All right, Simon. So, you know, you obviously left your phone number for the fitness consultation when it was optional. I'm curious, what brought you to this call with me today? Bam. Now you're selling me.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
And 4 days is kind of like, even if you use that objection at the end, it's like,
and so this is the thing though. So if you do a good enough job on the sales call, then, you know, people are going to, they're going to be like, I need to lose this 20 pounds. I need to do it because my wife, like me and my wife hasn't had sex in like the last 6 months, blah, blah, whatever the fuck. At the end of the call, you're like, Simon, I'm so glad you applied for this 4-day challenge because it gave us the opportunity to talk today. But me and you both know that this is going to take longer than 4 days. Yeah. Okay. So are you interested in a short-term fix or do you want like a permanent lifestyle change? Because it sounds to me like you want a permanent lifestyle change.
Yeah.
You want a permanent lifestyle change? Okay, great. So do you mind if I tell you a little bit about how my coaching program works? Bam.
Yeah.
You're into it. Yeah.
So the challenge you run is what, like start at Sunday, we start Monday, fill everybody up in a week.
It's like a 10-day process. So it would be like, it's a 7-day process, really. 7 to 8. So day one, you got to decide what your challenge name is. You got to name it something that your avatar actually wants. Like if you call it like the 4-day like tone bikini challenge, that's an extreme example, but your avatar wouldn't be interested.
Yeah, that would be like
figuring out exactly what your avatar wants and then naming your challenge that.
Yeah.
Then you post a ad on Facebook, or Instagram, and you get people interested.
So you run ads to it, or like a boosted, or
just organic. Right?
Organic,
The ad would be like the Instagram story post, Facebook post, whatever. The goal is to get, I would say, 20 to 40 people in. 40 is probably 30 to 40 is ideal.
Yeah.
Any more than that, I've done 40 challenges where I had 700 people in. People just get lost in the weeds. There's no intimacy.
Yeah.
Whereas there's 20 to 40 people, you'll be able to identify who the hot leads are, who's really interested, and focus on those people and get them into the program.
Yeah.
And whereas you get more than 40, it's really hard to keep up with who's hot, who's not, and then people just slip through the cracks. So I think 20 to 40 people. So for the first 3 days, you basically fill it, and then you do a live stream. Let's say you started it Sunday, you started to fill it. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, you filled it up, and then so Monday, Tuesday, you filled it up, and then Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, you do your live streams, and throughout those times, you're also taking coaching calls. So that's the best way to make money fast.
Yeah.
Because that's what you asked. I think the best way to make money, period, is to build a brand. Because the reason that people come to me now, the reason I'm getting speaking opportunities at like the Limitless Society event, whatever, it's because now I have a brand.
Yeah.
It's like now people like see when people follow me on Instagram, like come across my newsfeed, they're not coming across a random dude that went viral once. They're coming across a dude that has like 1,850 posts that are all valuable. And I think the only way that you build a brand is like creating really, really, really good organic content. And dude, organic is free. It's free.
Yeah.
Literally free.
Yeah.
You don't have to do anything. You just literally market yourself. It's completely free.
Yeah.
So I think that building a brand is the best way to make money forever, because then you're never worried about where your next dollar is coming from, because you have a massive audience.
Yeah.
So audience building, brand building, I think is everything.
Yeah.
That's the game that Alex Hormozi's playing right now too. Like he talks about that in a podcast, right?
Yeah.
He's like, you realize Kylie Jenner was a billionaire, and because she had a brand and started building his audience. So like that's the game that I'm starting to play.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I see that, but you could also see it with him, like why it's quote unquote so easy for him to do now, because one, he's got the experience, and two, he doesn't need the money right now.
Yeah.
And that's it goes into my question in terms of like, I see a lot of, us coaches and online entrepreneurs and that sort of thing, 5-step tour, click below, DM me this word, CTA, fucking all that sort of stuff, polls, do you want my free plan?
Yeah.
Maybe I'm just stupid. No,
you're
not. I'm bored. Like I'm over that.
You
know what I mean?
I get what you're saying. I also think that, so I do that every day in my story. If you go to my Instagram story, it's every day I do CTA, every single day.
Yeah.
I also post 3 times a day though. So like I'm giving so much value that my audience is cool with me asking.
Yeah.
Because they're like, they come to my page, they watch all my stuff.
Yeah, they're not like CTA'd.
They're not CTA'd out because like I literally give them value all day, every day.
Yeah.
And so like they're like, if I do a CTA, they're like, cool.
Yeah.
So I think that like the give to ask ratio is 3 to 1. That's Gary Vee. That's not me. So it's like I'm always giving more than I ask for. I go live 5 times a week for free. Yeah. So it's like my give. I always give more than I ask for.
Yeah.
But dude, I'm asking every day.
And what are you asking for the same thing? Or are you asking like, do you have always different?
Different.
Like,
I would say, always different, because it's like your market, the audience is smart,
hear it,
right? So you say the same thing. I basically, Simon, try to say the same thing 100 different ways.
Yeah.
So it's like it's the same offer. Yeah. There was a story, I forget the book. I need to learn it, because whenever I talk about it, it doesn't hit because I don't know the actual book's name. They released this book, and it sold like 5,000 copies. And they took it back, they changed the name, they changed the cover, they re-released it, and it became a bestseller.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's just the same, the same idea, it's the same core thing, but I'm just marketing it in a different way.
Yeah.
So my coaching program it's the same.
Yeah.
But it's just different ways to market to different people. Like one CTA might be like, if you're struggling to book calls, make sales, and grow your social media, then DM me the word social, and I'll get you some info.
So everything you do is like the keyword.
I prefer the keyword.
Is the conversation. It's not like get my 4-step course and get my this free PDF. Like you always just try to like a pain point and then push to a DM CTA, and that CTA is just different.
Yep. That's the most part. Yes, I would say the most part. Yes. I also got an email list, so I'll write an email. Sometimes I'll write an email that's like straight to book a call. Like I'll write like a really long post about a client transformation that just happened in my coaching program with a book and call link.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'll do like a short CTA email that's like, hey, I'm looking for 5 personal trainers that are looking to add an extra 3 to 5K to the revenue in the next 30 to 60 days. If that's you, send me a DM on Instagram with the word case study, and I'll get you some info. I literally have one on my story that says that right now. So that's the game I try to play. I try to play the inbound lead game. I don't like sending outbound DMs. It's not fun for me. It's just the conversations just aren't awesome. The game that I want to play is I want to get my content so good that people love hearing from me.
You don't have to do it.
And then when I do a CTA, they're like, yes.
Yeah.
And when I send people DMs, they're like, dude, I love your content.
Yeah.
That's the game I want to play.
Yeah. Love that. And that's a long-term game, you know what I mean? But that's headspace.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's freedom, you know what I mean? You know, like it's there all the time, you know? So let's wrap around and 2 last questions right now. So last thing is around scaling and building a team, and that's just a selfish question for me, you know what I mean? So let's say you're a coach right now, whatever coach consultant, you're sitting around like 30, 40, 50K sort of thing.
Yep.
You're doing a lot still yourself.
Yep.
But you are either scared of like delegating and like they're not going to convert, they're not going to do the job as good as me, blah blah.
Yeah.
And at the same time, your system is not proven itself to like, let's say it's just lead flow or sales calls and that sort of thing, to flood enough that you actually can like, it's just obvious we need another sales guy. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like you in that like little, I think, like 30, 40, 50K, like you're too much in it.
Yeah.
How do you go about, like, how do you go about that scale thing? How do you go about building the team, and how do you go about getting over the hump of like you doing too much yourself and having trust in the system and like, you get what I'm saying?
I think the first thing that you need to identify is you need to look at your calendar and ask yourself, where are you spending your time? So if I was in your position, what I'd be doing is I would write down every single thing that I'm doing from top to bottom, all of them. You know, whether that be sending a DM to a client, replying to these email, getting back to my operations team, hosting my team meeting, doing a coaching call, replying to these DMs, getting on this call, getting on the second call, whatever it is. I'd write out my whole process top to bottom. And then I'd ask myself, I'd categorize it in 4 different categories. Category number 1 is stuff that I love doing and I'm really good at. Category number 2 is stuff that I'm pretty good at and I like doing. Category number 3 is stuff that I don't really like doing and I'd rather not do. And category number 4 is like, I'd rather jump off a bridge than do this, but I do it every day. So I outsource from the bottom up. That's my strategy around hiring, delegating, because oftentimes I think people delegate for the sake of delegating. Like they'll hear in a podcast, like, you know, you need to hire somebody to do your content. And then they're like, I'm going to hire somebody to do my content. But they actually love creating content. And then all of a sudden they stop doing the thing that they love, and then they lose the connection to their business. So I like to outsource from the things I don't like so that I can just stay in flow. And then I'm just moving. I'm just podcasting. I'm having fun, coaching calls, sales calls. You know, my team handles all the business. I make the sale. I pass them off to the onboarding team. The onboarding team runs it. I'm good to go. I don't got to do the logistical shit. I hate that. I want to talk to you. I want to get you excited. I want to get you results. I want to talk to you on coaching calls. That's what I want to do. And so I outsource from the bottom up. Now, in regards to your system and like where you should work on your system, here's what I like to think about. Like, number 1, I'm going to ask you this question. If I added an extra 50 clients to your business, would you be able to handle the workload?
Yes and no. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, yeah.
So that's good.
Yeah.
So wherever you said no, that's the next help I would hire with delivery.
Yeah.
So whatever would break with the no that's the next.
It's just people. It's just a coach.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So that's the next problem that I would solve.
Yeah.
But if that's not the constraint, it sounds to me like it's the sales and the lead. So like that's where I would focus my energy in terms of like scaling. Now, I don't think, this is the thing, bro, is I don't think that the answer is hiring another, like getting your sales to a point where you're so busy you need to hire another salesperson. I think that you should train one person to be as good or better than you. And understanding that like 80% as good as you is better than 100% of you, because when you have a guy that's a gun that can close, sometimes you'll find somebody that's better than you, bro. When you have a guy that's a gun that can close 80% to 100% as good as you, now you as a creative director can be like, let's go get more leads. Then you add more leads to the pipeline. And then the next guy that comes in, either you train them or your sales guy trains them. Now you've got 2 sales guys and you've got more leads because you unlock like the bottleneck. So I outsource from the bottom up in terms of like delegation. So if there's anything in your calendar that's like sucking up your time that you don't like doing, get rid of that so you can have more like flow state. And then in terms of the actual operations of the business, I think that you should train somebody to be as good or better than you. I don't think you should wait until you're too busy to like hire another sales guy. Because like, dude, even when you get to that point, you need to hire another sales guy. Like if you're not willing to let go of the reins right now, you're not going to do it when you have another sales guy. And now you've got no time. You're trying to train 2 sales guys. Are you crazy? Like I would do it now. If anything, now is the best time to do it because your calendar isn't jam packed. It's not full. So like now you'd have the time to train with him, role play with him a little bit, replace yourself, watch some of his calls, make sure that they're good, give him feedback. And then as he gets better, once he's good, he makes the first sale on his own. Then now you can be like, okay, let's go get more leads.
Yeah.
You know, what do we need to do to turn the taps on a little bit?
Yeah.
Where do we need to, where do we need to focus to bring in more people? Pass on more people to him, making sure your delivery is good. You've got more time back. You're in flow more like that. That to me is the next level for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Makes sense. Like it's really just looking at that constraint of the business, like looking at that bottleneck thing. Yeah. Totally. Love that, bro.
Yeah.
What's next for you?
What's next for me? Dude, it's so funny because if you asked me this question a week ago, I would have had a direct answer for you. Somebody literally just made an offer on my business for like 8 figures. So now I'm like, I don't know what's next for me. I'm still figuring it out. What I will say is that in the next 5 years, my goal is to be bigger than Gary Vaynerchuk. And I've had that goal since I was like 25 years old. And when I say bigger than Gary Vaynerchuk, like I think that the amount of value that I provide for social media right now in terms of like step-by-step how-to tutorials, how to get started, what to say on sales calls, like the amount of in-depth, tangible, practical value that I give on social media, I would argue is like, we're talking like up there with the top dogs.
Yeah.
So I want to hold my breath for as long as I possibly can for the next 5 years and see what happens.
Yeah.
And so I'm just going to like, we talked about this like intense desire to stay focused on one thing. Dude, I will hold my breath for like the next 10 years if I need to.
Yeah.
Like I have this aspiration of being like bigger than Gary Vaynerchuk, and that's just like a benchmark I can aim for.
Yeah.
Because he exists, I'm motivated. Like that's the level that I'm shooting for, is like, that's where I'm going.
What's the like, what, because you know he has his business underneath that, and like you have a business, and whatever business you have there,
yeah.
Like what's the drive to be bigger than him? Like in what way? A celebrity, the brand, the exposure, the reach that comes with it. Like why do you want that aspect and not have the biggest coaching business? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think that's a good question. I never thought about that.
Like, you think that is going to give you more of this?
I know for a fact
it will. Yeah.
Yeah. I think that if I had to say something out loud right now, it's like, because he exists, I'm motivated. Like because that's a level, I want to get to it. I think that if one person has done anything, it's possible for anyone. I've always believed that, and even like that level of like delusion is what got me out of being a drug addict and turned me into a millionaire. It's like I just believed, bro.
Yeah.
And so now, like one of the things we talked about is like, how do you keep your edge? How do you stay motivated? Like I just believe, bro. Like I believe that that's possible, and even if it seems abstract or far away or crazy, like that's what motivates me. And so I don't know why. I don't know why. Like, why does Gary Vee want to buy the Jets? He doesn't fucking know. Right? But it's like, I know that's possible, so I'm going to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you would say, like, your driver and your mission and your vision is what? Like, it's just that innate hunger for more. Like,
yes.
What can this be?
What can I be?
Yeah.
Like, who could I be? If I never gave up on myself, if I always went all in, if I was willing to, like, bear all adversity, if I never bent the knee, if I always kept going, if I never gave up, like, who could I be?
Love that.
Yeah.
My brother.
Yeah.
You legend. Fucking love this. Like, it was a good energy, man. It was like, we went fucking different directions, but like really good value as always. I appreciate you.
Yeah.
Where can people figure out more about you if they want to learn from you, watch your content, or maybe get help from you in any business aspect?
I love it. So The Real Brian Mark on Instagram is where you're going to find all my content. I'm building my YouTube channel right now, so bear with me. I got 6,000 subscribers. So I'm trying to get to 10K, so go subscribe to me on YouTube. And the Change Lives Make Money on the Internet podcast. That's where we get like, that's where all the downloads are coming, the viewers are coming in. So if you guys want to listen to some value, there's 1,000 podcast episodes that are about sales, marketing, content, building a business, all that stuff.
Love that, bro.
Yeah.
Appreciate you. Thank you so much for being on. Yeah.
Cool. Thanks for having me. Thanks. Peace.